I'm not connecting to the food that I'm eating. I'm not connecting to my creativity. I'm not connecting to life itself because I've outsourced so much of this because we're told that if you make a certain amount of money, you shouldn't have to do those things. They're beneath you.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're really disconnecting from your life. Hi guys, I'm Jenna Kennedy and I am so excited to be on this series with you. I honestly don't even know what to call myself nowadays. I once upon a time was a 7-figure business coach, and then I went through this massive season of, you could say, burnout, but really rediscovering who it is that I am and the work that it is that I want to do in this world. And so I'm breaking into a completely new industry. And honestly, at this season in my life, I'm living, I'm learning, I'm growing a human, and I'm just bringing people along on that ride and on that journey to really build a life and a business and a legacy and an impact that is so uniquely yours and nobody else's. So come on along. I'm excited to be on this series and see you there.
Hey, I'm Taylor Davis. Welcome to Wildly Satisfied. I hope you enjoy the show. And we're back for another episode in this series all about CEO energy, nervous system regulation, burnout, and all the things as we go into a new way of doing business, feminine leadership. I'm all for that. I'm like, let's fucking go. And as I said, if you guys listened to the last one, I'm here with Jenna Kennedy. So we're going to dive right back into another episode. And today we're going to talk a little bit about stabilizing and recovering after burnout.
Yeah.
After experiencing such a big drop in different way and losing the identity of who you were and shifting and what that looks like. And so one thing I was really inspired by with you, when we connected, I was like, oh my God, I just love all these stories that I'm seeing. Because I know, like, projector to projector, we can totally nerd out on things that we're learning.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I really, really loved with you was I saw all your stories on Instagram about just all the tools that you were learning around happiness and nervous system regulation and cold plunging and everything. And so I would love to hear, I know you shared your story in the last episode around what happened when you burned out.
Yeah.
But what was it like when you stopped?
Yeah.
And then took the time to recover? Like, what was that like for you?
I mean, I would love to be like, it was great, but the reality is it was gnarly.
It was gnarly.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, the truth of the matter is, a lot of people, it's like, okay, we hit burnout, and then it's like, and then I came out on the other side, and it's like, that took a long time for me, to be honest with you. And there was a day that I was pretty lost and pretty tired, and, I'll use the word depressed because I think it's important to be truthful of the magnitude of how I was feeling. Well, first off, my therapist looked at me in the eye and told me I had every symptom of depression, and I looked at him and I was like, man, I don't have time to be depressed. All right.
Oh my God.
I don't have time for this. And he's like, okay.
That's such like a woman and entrepreneur thing.
Dude, it's such a thing. I'm like, and nobody has time to be depressed, all right? I don't have time to be depressed. I don't have time to be burnt out. Just tell me what to do. Like, come on. What childhood trauma do we have to go into and do EMDR around to solve this so that I can be on my merry way, all right? Well, nothing. There's nothing.
You just have to actually stop trying to solve everything.
No, there's nothing. There's no EMDR. There's no amount of plant medicine. There's nothing and nothing and nothing that you can do to get yourself out of it. And so it was a waiting. It was a waiting and a recovering. Like I explained in last episode, one of my favorite definitions of burnout is the forward motion for too long. And the only way to recover from when you hit that wall is to give yourself rest. Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it a year? I don't know. Everyone's going to be different. I've got friends that it was 3-4 years. I've got friends that it was 3-4 days. I was somewhere in the middle of that. Not quite a year, but pretty darn close. So there's one day I was on the couch, right, deep in it. I kind of accepted that I had every symptom of depression, right?
I love how you're like rolling your eyes.
I accepted it. It was something I didn't want to accept because my family struggles with mental health, and my dad has had a history with depression, and it was something that I didn't want to accept because I was like, nope, not me, And so I finally accepted it, and my husband's a saint. You've met him. He's sweet, nurturing, kind, like supportive human.
So kind.
Oh my gosh, such a heart of gold. And he came over to me and I was like, babe, I feel like every day I have to fight for my happiness and it's not fair. Like I was always a human that just like, I woke up happy. Like I was happy everywhere I go. I love people. I love life. Like my whole life I've just kind of had this like vivacious energy. And I'm like, I have to fight to even feel an ounce of happiness. And I hate it. And he was like, I hate it for you too. But this is just where you're at. And so I kind of started to just wonder, how does one fight for their happiness? Like,
isn't that kind of like a backward, is it that an oxymoron?
Right?
Right? Like,
right? Yes. But those were the only words that could explain what I was feeling.
yeah.
I'm like, how the hell do I do this? Like, how does one like work for happiness? I've always just been happy.
Oof.
Now, granted, a lot of my just being happy was suppressing a lot of trauma and a lot of things that I just was kind of naively happy about life, right? I was just kind of like a golden retriever. I had no idea what's going on in the world, but like I was happy anyway. And I really had to fight for it. And then, so I started to go on a journey of really learning, like, is there a science of happiness? Is there a formula for happiness? Are there things that we can be doing every single day that really actually support us in our happiness? And I started to realize that for a long time, especially as an entrepreneur, my happiness and my joy was very much dependent upon what I was doing and how much money I was making and how high I was achieving. And recognizing that so much of my happiness was relying on external things. And I didn't want them to be. I didn't want my happiness to be fleeting and dependent upon a factor outside of myself anymore. And it wasn't. I mean, I was like shut things down and I was like burned out and things were crumbling. And I was like, that's not even an option anymore, right? It's not even an option at all. And I started to really understand, how does a human be happy, especially as an entrepreneur and as a leader. And I went on a pretty long journey to just discover that.
You shut your business down, like
95% of my revenue down.
yeah, and you're, to just be like context wise,
Yeah.
multi 7-figure years, right?
Yeah, 1.4 million 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Yep.
Very well known in the industry, for lack of a better
No,
term.
for sure.
And
Team of 5 people, and I would like to just be very honest that my husband was one, my mom was the other, my sister-in-law was another.
Yeah.
So the majority of my and then me, and then my amazing assistant Chelsea. So majority of my company was my family, right? So it's not just like it's not just like an assistant that I paid minimum wage. Like it was like I built my company so that I could run it and do cool things with my family.
oh,
Right?
yeah.
So, and yeah, my whole lifestyle. I mean, I didn't just make 7 figures once. Like I had made a lot of money over a long period of time, right? I had changed my whole lifestyle because really for almost 2 years, I was between 70 and $100,000+ months. So my whole lifestyle is dependent upon how much money I'm making.
Oh my God. Oh, so I have a question there, because what were the defining differences? Because you said your whole lifestyle was around it. When you were making those months compared to now, or compared to when you like kind of woke up with depression, for the lack of a better description.
Yeah.
What were the things that you were doing during those high earning months where you're like, oh my God, I have it all,
Yeah.
compared to like what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Like what were the differences there?
I drove a sick car.
That's great. Okay.
So fast.
Okay.
Got a ticket in it. Got pulled over another time with a warning. It's fine. It's fine. It was just about our lifestyle. You know, the house that we live in, the car that I drove, just my way of life. Like I was getting massages and going to acupuncture, and I had like a whole self-care everything. We were going out to eat all the time. We were going on vacation all the time. You know, I was once a quarter, every other month, I was meeting a friend here or going here. Like I love having money. Yeah. I love spending money. I was spending money and having money. It was a really fun.
It's very nice. It's very nice to have money and spend money. Yeah.
It's so nice. You know, it was like, if you want to go super into it, and I went through time that I reevaluated everything, right? My self-care routine was what you see from influencers on the freaking internet, right? It was like, I was getting Botox, I had hair extensions, I was dyeing my hair blonde, I was getting my nails done every, I don't know, 10 days or whatever. massages. I had a membership, and some people are listening like, oh my God, for real, like first world problems. But like, I created this life around having a good amount of money.
Yeah.
And then I started to realize as I wasn't making the money and had no desire to make that much money at that point in my life, like I was like, why am I dyeing my hair this color? And why do I have hair extensions? And why am I doing Botox? And why do I have to do this? And why am I doing this? And I started to ask myself, are these things important to me any longer? And they really weren't. You know, it wasn't important for me to like go out to lunch every other day with a friend or a business meeting. Like, I really didn't need these things, and I thought that those things made me happy, and they I would say like brought me temporary moments of joy. But like, do they really actually build long-term happiness? Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. I feel like I wanted to bring that up because, you're like, oh yeah, first world problems. It really is true that you can have all the money in the world and be completely despondent and depressed. And like,
For sure.
You're doing all the things. Literally, people are like, oh, go get massages, go do the things. It's like, no, you had all that, and it's still, but you were trying to keep up. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious of like, what was your day to day like compared to now, where day to day you were running the multi-seven-figure company versus now, and you had it all, quote unquote, had it all in this version, and it was leading to burnout. So what were the defining differences in like day to day from what you see looking back to what you have now?
So good. Well, I will say that there's a study that's been done before I dive into that. And I'm not gonna put too much weight on this dollar amount because hello inflation, but at the time that it was done, I think it was in the 90s, late 90s, and it was essentially measuring happiness over the course of time and looking at the effects of money and happiness, and does it buy happiness? And it does up until a certain amount.
Yeah.
At the time the study was done, it was 70,000. I would be willing to bet it's probably about double at this point in time with our life, with our lifestyle and inflation and all the things. But the reality, or the truth of the study is simply this. When all of your needs are met and you're out of survival mode,
Yes.
and you can like have some of the basic things that you've wanted to have in life, anything over that dollar amount wise cannot bring you happiness. Now, I think it can bring you short-term happiness. Like, it is nice to go on vacation every once, and it is nice to have these experiences in life because you are fully living life. But after a certain amount of money, it's not doing anything. Studies have proven it.
And by the way, everybody, she's not talking about $75,000, because I remember when this study came out.
Yeah.
And so many people were like, no, this is blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of like backlash. Obviously that was done in the 90s.
For sure.
Let's just say you double it or you're making 120,000.
Yeah, there's a threshold.
There's a threshold.
There's a threshold for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just think that that's really important to note, because I grew up in a household with a single mom that would always say, they say that money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure would help. She was a struggling single mom. You know, we didn't have the ability to go out to eat, to go on vacation, to buy a bunch of new clothes. Like, we just didn't have that growing up. It wasn't my lifestyle. So I really did think, I kind of called BS on that. I'm like, no, money does and it can buy happiness. But I think money can and does buy safety and security.
Yes.
And then after that, and it really doesn't do much.
I always say, my niece, who's 21 now, she said to me, she's like, well, I know money doesn't buy happiness. I'm like, no. It absolutely can buy things that make you happy. Money can't buy love.
Yeah.
Which is what people confuse a lot of the time. It's like, money's not going to buy you love.
Or peace, or contentment.
No, but it can give you things, or not things, experiences, whatever you want to spend your money on. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
No, I love this. Okay, so
the day-to-day.
Yeah.
That's what you asked me.
Yeah.
We'll close that loop. So
I love closing lists. I said that before we started. I was like, I love loop closing.
Me too. I always follow. I'm like,
too.
hold on, loop's gotta close.
Yeah.
So what was my day-to-day like? Completely different. Oh my gosh, completely different. I did have a team. So let's just preface with that. So I really wasn't working that many hours. So I think this is really important for the burnout conversation, because a lot of people are thinking, burnout, you're working like 12 to 12, or, you know, like you're working 12-hour days and whatever that might look like. Yes, and I really wasn't working a lot because, and I would have a couple client calls, I would have a program that I was running, but I had an incredible team that was doing a lot of work for me, like That was where my company was at. It was very much less of what I was doing and what my days looked like, and a lot more of my body and my mind. Because at the time that I was running a 7-figure company, I was always thinking, what's the next program? What's the next launch strategy? How can I enhance this? How can I improve this program? How can I make my content better? How can I help more people? There was always that forward motion of thinking, and I never felt the feeling of like,
Breathe, peace,
ever.
and just being here, it literally embodied in this moment.
Literally. Because again, even though my calendar had a lot of free time, like I could wake up and go meet, and I would wake up, I would go meet a friend downtown to have a workout. We'd walk a little bit. We'd do a co-working session. I'd go home and I'd hang out with my husband for a little bit. And then I would walk the dogs and I would work a couple hours. Like my schedule wasn't that different than it is now. But I was so internally preoccupied and constantly thinking about an abundance, a plethora of different things, that my body and my mind were never really turning it down or off.
I feel that. I understand that.
Right?
I literally just had a conversation with someone recently. My friend, who's a manifesting generator. She has so much energy.
You guys impress me.
You guys impress me. Like, generators,
I don't get you. You impress me. I don't want to be you, but I appreciate you.
Yeah. I love me my Manny Gens because I'm the grounding, stabilizing energy, and they're chaos and creative, and it's amazing. And she went through a burnout period, and she woke up several mornings in a row, wake up and like, feeling, she's like, I have no energy. I have no life in me. I don't even want to, all the things that you were describing. And I was like, hey, first of all, welcome to being a projector, partially, not having any energy, not the depression and the burnout part of things, but welcome to that. She's like, oh, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, we made a joke out of it. But it was also, I was like, you have to slow down, because the way that we're taught how to do business and how they're like, go hard and hustle and do the thing. And it's not always physical movement, the hustling. It's not always, it's your mind running and always building and always going to the next thing and always pursuing.
Yes.
And when your mind is running like that, even when you're not thinking, even when it's not ruminating thoughts, when you go to sleep and your mind's running and then you wake up exhausted, and then the next day you just keep doing it over and over and you're never in your body. I feel like that's such a beautiful point that you made. And so when you were going through the shift, first of all, what were some of the things that you started doing to shift from that? Obviously, you like closed your business down, and I'm sure that was an entire grieving process and so difficult, very gnarly.
Yeah.
And then also, how has it shifted since then? Yeah.
Well, I realized that things were just so complex. And I was like, why are they so complex? I don't care for any part of my life to be complex. I would love to be simple, like simplified. And I've talked to a lot of friends that have run multiple 7 and close to 8-figure companies over the past couple months too. And almost every single one of them have had the same thing. Like, when the hell did things get so complex? You know, when we want to scale to new levels, which of course we want to do as entrepreneurs, like, let's just normalize that, right? Yeah. We're often looking at it through a limited lens of like, okay, well, let's say that you want to go from, let's say, 1 million to 5, right? Everything's going to change from 1 million to 5. It's not just simply doing more. It's a restructuring of yourself, of your company, of your business, of your reach. Like, everything changes. And unfortunately, in that, it gets very complex. And we could say the same thing to go from 6 figures to $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right? Everything has to change. And we really have to ask ourselves, like, what is the role that we want to play in this change? Like, do we really, truly want to play this role, or do we want to play this role? And this is like the redefining, right, of the CEO, which I know we're going to get to in future episodes. But we really have to be smart about asking ourselves, like, realistically, how much work do I want to put in here? And do I want to put the work in of this figures, or do I want to stay in my zone of genius and do the things that I love? Right? So what I started to do was ask myself, what do I really want my life and my work to look like? like, what do I want my marriage to look like? What do I want? I mean, I'm grateful I've always had a very strong marriage throughout this process, but like, what do I want my relationships with my friends to look like? What do I want my day-to-day to look like? And then what do I want my impact and my work in the world to be? And my impact in the world, I would love to just stay in my zone of genius and just do the things that I love and just do the things that actually give me life.
Yeah.
So I had to go through this process of like, what the hell brings me life? Like, what brings me energy? Like, what brings me joy? And that's a discovering process in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, and then I started to create my life around things that bring me joy and actually bring me energy. And what does it look like to structure a business or a brand that's just centered around that?
I love this because in no way was I thinking that we were going to go here, but I always ask the question to my clients. First of all, you just described perfectly about how to approach feminine business. And so I'm like, yeah, like that was beautiful, because it's like, what do I actually want my life to be like?
Yeah.
What is, I call it a turn on vision. Like that's what I formed, but I was like, why do I want it to feel like? What's the freedom? What's the peace? What's really, truly your relationships and all the parts of how you living your life? And also the question that I ask my clients is, if you could only do 3 things, you were only allowed to do 3 things, and they brought you peace and joy and turn on and freedom and challenge.
Yeah.
What would those 3 things, and you're not allowed to do anything else.
Yeah.
In your business, what would they be? And people immediately are like, oh my God, I want to speak on stages.
Yeah.
Or I want to speak about this thing that I love.
Yeah.
I want to write my books. Oh my God, I love writing this. I want to facilitate this. Like they get in and they just light up.
It's so good.
And when I say, I'm like, okay, well, you're only allowed to do those 3 things now. And they're like,
but I can't.
but I can't.
I can't do that, right? That's business, but also then it's like, well, what about that in life?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, I was actually just listening to a podcast about this that I like paused it. Sometimes I like pause and I'm like, hold on, let that one land. And she said, it was Casey Means, and she said, because of the feminine movements that we've seen in the world, that we've all grown up seeing in the world, we've demonized the connection to life. Like we've demonized like cooking, like, oh, you're gonna cook your own meals, or you're gonna garden, like you're gonna get your hands dirty, like you're gonna clean your own house. Like that was a big thing. I had a mentor tell me, you make way too much money to clean your own house. And so what did I do? I hired a cleaner.
Yeah.
And I had someone clean my house, and it was cool. She came every Tuesday and my house was clean. But then I have 2 big dogs that shed everywhere. It does not say clean for very long. And then when I was going through like the depression and this self-discovery, I was like, I'm so disconnected from my life. Like I'm getting carry out, or my husband's cooking my food. Thank you God that he does that. But like, or I'm like meal prepping, and nothing wrong with these things, but I'm like, I'm not connecting to the food that I'm eating. I'm not connecting to my creativity. I'm not connecting to life itself, because I've outsourced so much of this, because we're told that if you make a certain amount of money, you shouldn't have to do those things. They're beneath you.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's you're really disconnecting from your life.
Was like, do you enjoy those things? Like,
Right.
What if you enjoy sitting there and cooking your meal, and and you're like, oh, but some mentor told me that I shouldn't be cooking my meal. I should hire someone.
Well, here's the crazy thing is I didn't enjoy it.
Oh,
I hated cooking.
okay.
Because I had shit to do.
I feel that so much.
And I had places to be, and I had people to help, and I had money to make. I don't have time to spend 2 hours in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I got time to go get my nails done, but I don't got time to stay in the kitchen. That is like, that's like peasant stuff. Like truly, we don't recognize that we're programmed this way. And so when I started to like kind of have things crumble, and I was like, oh, okay, hold on. I was like, what would it look like to actually enjoy that? My brother is a chef, and he's a phenomenal chef. And I watch him in the kitchen. He like does all these things, and he like whips up this meal, and it's to have a meal from someone that like made it with love. I was like, that's interesting.
Tastes different.
And I fought, right? And it tastes so different.
So different.
No seed oils. It tastes way different. And I started to follow my curiosity. And I was like, wait, I have a curiosity for cooking and baking. And I never in my entire life thought it would bring me joy, ever. Same thing with gardening. I was like, we don't got time to do that. Be outside and garden. And then all of a sudden, I grow my first patch of watermelons, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't ever want a watermelon from the store again. But I didn't think these things would ever bring me joy, because they were just like in that part of my life that was like, nope, you don't tend to do that.
Yeah, never even thought of that. I feel like I want to go so much deeper into this, but we'll leave that for the next episode because I definitely want to talk about dopamine chasing and a couple other pieces too, because this is so, I was like watermelon, juicy. I really want some watermelon now.
It's, garden your own. You're going to really want your own watermelon.
I also feel like, I don't know if this is a Michigan thing, I love watermelon. And
oh my God, my husband and I currently are eating it with a spoon.
Yeah, I can eat a whole watermelon in one sitting. It is really sounds savage. So true. Oh my God. We will definitely go more into that in the next episode. Maybe not watermelon, but other things, and dive more into what it looks like to have switch into the life where what we are describing of like, okay, well, you're recovering and noticing when you're going into burnout, and you don't have to be fully burned out, by the way, to start. Like, you don't need to wait until it's like horribly bad. If you're feeling this even a little bit, start shifting and start bringing these things in. And we'll dive a little bit more into that next episode. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this Wildly Satisfied production. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we would love it if you would share it with someone that you love, leave a review, or come tag us on social media at Wildly Satisfied.